Divorce happens. In fact, it happens to almost 50% of first marriages. So let's talk about it. Welcome to Divorce Happens, a podcast to educate, inspire, support, and yes, make you laugh through divorce and beyond so that you can start fresh on the next phase of your journey. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh.
You get divorced. You get divorced.
Getting divorced?
I'm getting a divorce.
You're getting a divorce.
Because she's getting a divorce.
So what if I get divorced?
Hello, and welcome back to Divorce Happens, the podcast where we support you before, during, and after divorce with education, inspiration, and a little bit of laughter, because as we know, divorce happens, and then you start fresh. And we're here with one of our Fresh Starts experts, Erin Snow. Erin, can you tell us a little bit about what you do and who you are?
Hi, Olivia. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on the podcast. Sure. So, Erin Snow, I live in Seacoast, New Hampshire, and I own Seacoast Listening Lounge. Seacoast Listening Lounge is a vent space and professional listening service for women who are looking to share their story in a safe and confidential space without judgment.
I love that. And I will say when Erin applied to be, or when she registered to be a Fresh Starts expert, we were like, what is this? We've never heard of this before. So I'm so excited to be really, showcasing you to the world because I love what you do so much. So you have a long background in divorce advocacy and all sorts of divorce related things. So let's talk about the importance of listening during a divorce, because often people going through a divorce feel like nobody's listening to them. So why is it so important to be an active listener and a participant in somebody's life when they're going through a divorce?
Sure. And I can speak to this on a professional and personal level. As you mentioned, I worked in family law. I worked for New Hampshire Legal Assistance for 16 and a half years, doing high lethality, divorce, parenting, and protective order cases on behalf of domestic violence victims, stalking victims, and sexual assault victims and survivors. And then I went through my own divorce. So lots of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the reason why I started Seacoast Listening Lounge was because I found there was a lack of space for people to be heard, for someone to feel truly listened to. And it is incredibly important to have those safe spaces. People need to feel supported. These are emotionally trying times. There's a lot of financial stress. There's a lot. You're worrying about yourself. You're worrying about your kids. You're worrying about everybody's perspective
Mm-hmm.
and how everyone's going to react. So having a space to be able to let it all out, just it opens that valve a little bit, because if we don't create a space to open that valve, then it just bubbles up and it blows up, and it's not helpful to the process. It's not helpful to being able to move forward. So yeah, empathetic listening and how to do that and what that looks like. It sounds probably harder than it actually is, and it can take work. So I don't want to say that it's not hard. It's letting somebody know that you are here for them and that you are here for them regardless of what they want to tell you. When I was working as a paralegal, and people would come in and they would talk to me, and I would have a very specific goal about what we needed to accomplish in that meeting. For example, I needed to figure out a child support calculation. So I really wanted all this financial information.
Right.
And, my client would sit down and we'd start talking about the financials, but inevitably we would kind of go off course and talk about something else. And everyone, we have to be efficient, right, in our jobs too. Um, but we also need to think about, why is this person going down this path? What do they need to talk about? And in that moment, what is more important? Is it more important that this person be able to get out what they need to get out? Or
Right.
do I need to be concerned about efficiency and I need this answer right now? And you have to balance those things. So two things. If you have the time, give them the space and let them talk about it.
Mhm.
Find out kind of what is going on. What is the catalyst behind those thoughts? Are they worried about the kids? Are they worried about being able to put food on the table? What is it that is kind of taking them off course from being able to focus on the financial piece? If 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 you have very limited amount of time and you really need that answer, that's okay too, but acknowledge that this is important to that person. Say, I know that you really want to talk about this. And I know that this is important and we can make time to do that. But right now, we need to focus on this particular issue. Does
Mm.
that work for you? And just acknowledging that and creating that safe space and saying, hey, look, I want to be here for you. I am here for you. But here are the boundaries, here are the parameters.
Right.
Um, and then just on a personal level, I know firsthand what it was like to not have anyone to listen to me.
Mm.
Um, I didn't talk about my divorce at all with my friends. I think people have probably heard me say this. I think people knew about the divorce when there was a U-Haul truck at my house. Like, what is going on?
Mhm.
Um, I didn't talk about it because I was concerned about the judgment. I was concerned about what other people's reactions would be. Um, I didn't want them to have all the information because those were very private, intimate details of my life, and I didn't feel prepared to share those things. Mostly because if you have kids, you find that your circle group, group of friends,
Mhm.
are also the parents of your kids' friends. So there's just
Mhm.
certain information that you don't want to disclose because you want to be
Yeah.
protective.
Yeah.
So there was a lot I didn't share. And that was really hard because I felt very, very alone. And then I thought if I did share that I would get the reactions. And it is already a difficult, it takes a lot of thought to get to the point of I want to get a divorce.
Yeah.
A lot goes
Yep.
into that. I want to get a divorce. And it's not something that I think most people come to that decision lightly or easily. Um, so you've made that decision, you know why you've made that decision, but then having to
Mhm.
explain those reasons to other people is
Yeah.
really challenging because then they're gonna push back. Like, "Did you think about the kids? Do you wanna spend Christmas every other year without
Mhm.
your kids?" And then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I thought about that, but maybe
Yeah.
they're right." So you just
Yeah.
kind of play devil's advocate with yourself and you question the decision that you already made, which was
Yeah.
difficult enough to get there. Um, so that's what I was worried about. And
Yeah.
so I would just say so the importance of active listening, the importance of creating that safe space is you don't know what is going on necessarily in the mind of the person that's telling you their story. And if the reaction isn't exactly what they're expecting, it can shut them
Yeah.
down. It
Yep.
can shut
Yep.
them down and could influence how they proceed.
Yeah.
So that seems like a lot of pressure, and I don't mean to put that pressure on people, but I would just say,
Yeah.
like, if you are the person listening, just be a good friend, be a good coworker, and all you need to do to be those things is to just say, "I'm here for you, and I'm not
Mhm.
judging you, and what can I help with? What do you need?"
Mhm. I love all of that so much. 2 things come to mind when you talk about all of that. One is that the importance of using your voice again, right, during a divorce process is, like, so I don't think we talk about this enough, right? It's like, but you really feel like your voice is stolen from you a little bit like the Little Mermaid. And so, when you have a safe place to say things without any fear, it
Mhm.
really starts to help your confidence grow back. And I think you made so many great points, but one of the great points you made was about kind of that community. And it's like, who do you share with in your community? I was hyper scared of things getting back to my ex-husband. And so I had maybe two friends, right, that I would text about this. And then I was walking around. I remember, picking my kid up from kindergarten, being like, the only thing on my mind is my divorce, and that's the only thing I'm not going to talk about. So what the hell do I talk about with these people, right? It was like, and then I felt like an outsider and like an alien, and so it's just this really like Twilight Zone type of time. And so I
Mhm.
think if the power of having like almost like an anonymous person, right, to like listen to you and like you're not going to go tell, your ex-husband's lawyer what you were saying is so important. And I just love that so much. So that being said, tell us about the listening lounge. What is that? What do you guys do?
So, I provide one-to-one listening sessions, confidential, safe listening sessions. And I want to be clear, this is not therapy. I am not a therapist.
Yeah, and I was going to say that too, Aaron, because I think that that's the other thing I love about this. Not to interrupt you, but I love what you do so much. Is that I think with sometimes people are therapy avoidant during divorce because they don't want to like the solutions are too much. They don't want to work through their shit right now, and you don't do any of that stuff, right? You're literally just listening. Yeah, so that's I think a really important point to make. Yeah,
Yeah. Also, too, I think therapy during divorce, while very needed in a lot of cases, is scary because it can also be used as a tool against the person that needs the therapy,
yeah,
particularly in domestic violence related cases or high conflict divorce cases.
yes,
In the cases I was working on, abusers would often use that and say, "Oh, well, mom's crazy. She has to go to therapy." And she probably needed therapy because of what she
mm-hmm,
was going through in the
hmm.
marriage. And then you're concerned about, well, what are you saying to the therapist? And
And
how
the
is that going to
therapist
be
can be
twisted?
subpoenaed. Your
Right.
therapist can be subpoenaed too.
Right. And
People don't
and
realize that.
and you would hope that those records would be protected, but a lot of people again are going through the court system
Mhm,
self-represented and they
mhm,
don't understand the process. They don't
mhm.
understand their rights.
Yep.
And, so they're giving up things or they're disclosing things without realizing the impact that it's
Yep.
having. So, yes, so this is not therapy.
Yeah.
I don't take any notes, and some people aren't looking for that solution or fix, like you said. They just wanna have a space where they can let it out and just say, "This was a crappy day. This is what happened. This is what I'm going through." Ugh, just
Yeah.
like
Yeah. We all need
projectile
that.
it out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
just walk
Yeah.
away and be like, "Oh my gosh, that just felt so
Yep.
good to
Yep.
just let it out," and that's
Yep.
what it is. So, 2 different types of sessions. I have a verbal smash session, which is kind of like the raw, like, I wanna get it
Mhm.
out, and I'm
Mhm.
so
Yep.
mad, and like the verbal smash room, we're
Yeah.
not splashing plates, but, kind of the same idea.
Yep. Love
Then
that.
we have the listening session, which is just more kind of like the quiet, contemplative,
Mhm.
meditative process where
Mhm.
maybe you're thinking about making a decision, but you haven't said it out loud, or maybe you got a health diagnosis and it's really scary and
Mm.
you don't know what it's going to sound like to say it out loud. So maybe you want to
Mm.
practice it here. There's a lot of different uses and there's no one size fits all. Um, it's really geared towards meeting the needs of that individual person and where they are in that moment. And how they are one session might be completely different from how they are the next session. And that's why I ask in my sessions, how do you want me to listen to you today? Because,
Mhm.
going back to what I said earlier, I don't think that that's a question that we ask people. We just, they talk and we respond and we
Mhm.
give our
Mhm.
opinions
Right.
and they talk and we give our opinions. It's not like that. This is, if you don't want that and you just want me to nod my head and say, "Okay, okay," and understand and validate,
Yeah.
um, through those type of responses, that's fine. If you want me to get in there and be like, "That guy's an a-hole," and, like, "I'm
Yep.
with you, I can't believe you
Yeah.
did that," if you want that kind of reaction from me and that's what you need, I am here for that. I'm
I love
trained
that.
in trauma-informed advocacy. I'm trained
Mhm.
in empathetic listening. As I said, I have professional and personal experience. I get it. And
Mhm.
I want people to know that that's what this space is. It is a safe space.
Mm.
And as I said, it's one-to-one. I do group sessions. Those are Thursday nights in person if you're local to New Hampshire. But the really, really great thing about this service is that while I do have I'm fortunate enough to have this amazing office space in Seacoast, New Hampshire, that it's a virtual service. So if you are on vacation and your husband drinks too much and he doesn't come home and you're pissed because you've been
Yeah.
out all day with like 4 kids and like it's a
Hell
hot
yeah.
mess and like
Yeah.
and you need to like go, "Oh my god, I can't believe this," then call me, make an appointment. We can do it virtually. If you don't want to, if you feel safe in your house and you don't want to go out, I'm online.
I love that.
It's accessible. I wanted it
Mhm.
to be accessible.
I love that. And I also love, as you're talking, I'm thinking there's a lot of people that have good things in their life happening and don't have anybody to celebrate that with, or are afraid maybe you're pregnant and your sister's trying to get pregnant and you are not ready to tell her, right? And so, like, or maybe you got a job and your friend just lost their job, right? So, Erin is available for all the good things too, which we love also. So,
Yep.
Erin, you can go to the website and just book a session super easily, right? On
Yep.
virtual?
Yep. Website has all the different types of services that I offer, and my calendar's right there. I offer free consultations. If you're like, hey, that sounds interesting, but not sure if it's for me, we can do that and you can learn more about it. But all on my
Amazing.
website. Mhm.
Amazing, amazing. Well, Erin, you have so much experience in this. If somebody's going through a divorce and they are listening to this, which they probably are because it's divorce happens, um, what would be some words of encouragement that you could leave them with?
I'm thinking about what I would have wanted someone to say to me when I was going through a divorce, which is, and it's actually a phrase that my mom uses a lot. Um, it's temporary. It seems really, really hard right now, but this is temporary and you will get through this. And whether you have people in your life, uh, or you're not sure who you can go to, you have services like this. You have fresh starts. There are people that you can reach out to who are here for you, who
Mhm.
genuinely care about what you're going through in this moment. So it seems overwhelming. It seems scary. It seems hard. You're questioning so many questions, but there are people who want to wrap their arms around you and support you and are here for you for whatever it is that you need. So this is temporary. You will get through it and you will get through it with people standing by you if that's what you need and want.
Love that so much. You can find all of Erin's info in the show notes. Erin, thank you for being here and for launching this amazing business and for being part of Fresh Starts. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Divorce Happens is produced by Fresh Starts Registry, the only divorce registry platform for everything you need to begin again, including home items, hype team, and everything in between. Remember, divorce happens, and then we start fresh. We're here to support you before, during, and after divorce. Head to freshstartsregistry.com for more info.